On today's episode of Titus and Tate, we pay our respects to the GOAT who tragically lost his life. Coach K, I'm talking about. I assume I don't know. I'm just I'm gauging it off of
Based
the
on the
way,
coverage,
yeah, the
yes.
way people are talking about it.
Mhm.
That Coach K tragically passed away, leading into.
Not gonna be around the program anymore, he says. Even though he's a brand ambassador, lives in Durham,
Yeah,
will definitely be around the program, but yeah,
yes,
we'll talk about all that.
we're gonna talk about Coach K. We're going to spend the next 4 to 7 hours in honor of his 1,170 wins. We are
Yes,
going to go through our 1,170 moments of Coach K's career and
yes,
life and
yes.
legacy.
Mhm.
So please join us on this journey. It will be very extensive, very comprehensive,
Mhm.
and it's the only way we know how. I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm kidding. But we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk a little bit about it because
Yeah,
as much as we like to joke about K,
we do have respect.
we
Yeah,
do
we have a
respect with a K. I
yeah,
spell respect with a
respect.
K. And Tate's an emotional mess because his team's fighting to be on the
They're
stay
off
on
the
the right.
bubble. No, no,
Stay
no.
on the
They're
right.
in. They're in. What
So
top 3 power conference team with 22 wins is not gonna get in? You show me the numbers, I'll show you a liar.
Meanwhile, conference tournaments are underway. Tate, you will not believe what
Yes.
happened yesterday in the Missouri Valley. There was it was madness. Like you would, I don't know. I wasn't actually right, but conference tournaments are underway, and it's fun because you can just turn on your TV, you see the
Boom.
smaller schools fighting it out. Technically, all these schools are
A lot
still
of
alive.
bettors are apparently, this is the week they lock in to watch these
Is
teams.
that right?
Yeah, that's a bunch of my friends are like, "Oh, I'm watching every single one of these games. I got to get prepared for next week." I'm like, "Oh my god."
Also in college basketball news, Joey Brunk, the
Yes.
Brunkamania is swept over all
ISO
of
God.
Columbus. Yes, it is. Last night against Michigan State, he was absolutely electric. Was had 18 points. He came into the game having scored 32 points. He scored 18 last night. So we got him on the show, talked to him for like 5, 10 minutes
Could have had
about.
more. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah,
they kept
yeah.
feeding him, if you fed the hot hand like you should,
I
could have had
literally
more.
said the phrase while I was watching the game. We got to get Brunk a touch here. In the second half. That's where we were with the experience. It was like Malachi. We had 2 first-round picks
Uh,
on the floor, Malachi Branham and EJ Liddell, that are taking shots. And I was like, we got to. It's been 4 possessions since Brunk's got a touch. We got to get him a touch. So we talked to Joey. That was a lot of fun. We have Fraud Friday, last
whew.
fraud power rankings of the season. This is it. This is the last one. This is
Wow.
going to take you home. And finally,
Please let
a
Coach K be on there. Please let
a
Coach K
boots
be on
on the
there.
ground Donda homecoming
Oh man.
recap.
Boy.
3 of us
Boy.
went to the Donda Homecoming Part 7.
Kanye didn't even go.
Kanye didn't even go. We
And
went.
we went.
So we're going to talk about that. All of that coming up. But first,
Woody Durham.
all right, Tate. You wanted to start with Donda. I was thinking maybe we do Donda at the end, but you wanted to just get it out of the way.
I just think that, a lot of people, they hear us and they say, what are these guys going to go do? They're going to go to the Donda Academy.
Yeah.
Like, I even talked to people the day of and said, they're like, what are you doing tonight? And I said, I'm going to the Donda game. And then the what?
Yeah.
The who? A lot of people are still not up to speed on what
On
this
what
is.
exactly it is.
Yes.
My father asked me the day after we went to the game. My dad called me and
Yeah.
like he talked to me about it as though it was like a high school game, like a true
Yes.
like because my
Like,
dad
did you learn
my
something
dad's
about
plugged
this?
into the
Yeah.
Indiana high school basketball scene, so he's like, so what were they playing the rival? Like, was this for like a sectional? I was like, Dad, none of that exists. There's no such thing as rivals. There's no such thing as tournaments.
Yeah.
It's
Throw it
just
out.
like an exhibition, like I don't know. So anyway, we
But they had lost to this team, I guess, earlier that
Yeah.
that they played in this homecoming game. So
Yeah.
this was a redemption game, a revenge game for Donda Academy.
yes.
If that makes any sense. But I think they've only played like 8 games all time.
It was so we want to walk through the experience.
Yes.
We were watching Saturday as all the madness was going on. Saturday being the day that the top 6 teams in college basketball
Yes.
lose.
A historic day.
We're at Tate's place. Tate's sitting in the recliner just like, this has been an insane day. But I got something even more insane.
Let's make it more insane.
Let's raise the stakes. And I was like, what? And he said, I just bought 3 tickets to the Donda game on
Yes.
Wednesday.
Homecoming game.
And Jim and I both thought you were joking. You were not joking. It said on the tickets that the game. What did it say? Like 5 to 9. It said that.
5:30 to 9 is, but the game started at 7.
Okay.
But you were allowed to get in at 5:30. We learned once we got there.
Yes. So we were working under the assumption that like there's no way this game started at 7.
Yes.
There's no way.
You guys,
Yeah.
the ticket says 5:30, but you got to my place around 6. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because we're Donda experts. We're like,
Yes.
no way Kanye's getting there at 5:30.
Yes.
let alone 7.
Like if it's a Kanye concert, he's not
Going on till
concert
10.
at 5:30. Yeah, he's not going on.
It's
till
5:39,
10.
but he'll be there at 10.
It's in there. Exactly. So we were like, we'll show up at 7:30 and it'll be perfect. And in fact, we were driving on our way there. We were like, we might show up at the exact same time Kanye gets here.
Yes.
And we might just like pull in right next to him and walk in next to him. And
these are as we're driving to Cal State Northridge, the home of Mark Godfrey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We it was all black. That was the
we all had black on.
We all had to wear black. I wore I wanted to wear a hat because like I wanted to just be literally head to toe blackout.
Yeah.
So
we debated masks. We thought
did.
About
I was about to just throw a mask on. I had black pants on. I had my black jacket on. And then I realized I don't have a black hat. The only black hat I had was the NASCAR hat I bought at Daytona.
Oh, that'd have been good.
And I put it on. I was like, that doesn't seem right. And so I'm walking out. I'm getting ready to leave, and I was like, I guess I just won't wear a hat. And then I caught the cowboy hat that I had bought in Texas when we were doing the football road trip. When Jim and I were doing the football road trip at Texas A&M. My cowboy hat was black, and I was like, screw it. And I grabbed the cowboy hat. I wore that. It felt right. The vibes were right. Everything was right.
And honestly, people in there thought you were from the Montana part of Kanye's
Yeah, they
life.
did.
You know what I mean? They thought that you came from Montana.
And then we walked into the gym, and I don't know what I expected, but it was shocking to say the least. It was. I say this as a guy who, as a reminder, folks, I don't know if you've ever heard my appearances on the Bill Simmons podcast, but I played on one hell of an AAU basketball team. In fact, maybe the greatest AAU basketball team of all time, which is to say,
now who was on that team?
which is to say that I've seen some in the AAU circles. I've seen I've been at some prep basketball scenes that would make your head spin of just like shady characters like over in the corner and you're like just weird vibes. I've been around it. I've seen it all.
Yeah.
I've never in my life seen anything like this. I've never in my life walked into a gym where it was a full blackout and you're saying to yourself, like, that's not unusual. Like, you don't know, Texas Tech might do a blackout. And I bet if you went to Lubbock during a Texas Tech blackout, I bet everybody's wearing all black, and I bet it's like sick and they're really into it. The difference being, Tate, Texas Tech is a real university that has real like people grew up.
There's a built-in audience. Yeah. There's students.
They've watched
alumni.
Texas Tech basketball their entire lives. It all leads to this moment that they're like, oh, we have a big game. I'm going to wear black.
Again, this is the Donda homecoming game. Who is coming home?
Donda doesn't exist. And not only has it never existed, it doesn't exist now.
And Ye calls it a basketball team.
Yeah.
Like when he speaks about it, he doesn't say like my school. Yeah, he says my basketball team.
And he somehow got hundreds of thousands. He got thousands. There were a few thousand people in there.
Yeah.
To all wear black.
Yeah.
To cheer for kids. If you would have asked everybody in that gym, like name literally one player on this team.
No idea.
No idea.
Name a basketball move.
What sport is this?
Yeah, no idea.
It was the weirdest scene because it jumped out immediately that these people are not basketball fans.
Well, you mentioned like AAU environments. It's like I would go to like the John Wall Holiday Invitational. You know what I mean? And that's like a crowd. There's no seats. It's going crazy. You know what I mean? But everyone there is like invested in what's going on the basketball court.
Yeah.
This is Hot Topic. You know, you're at Hot Topic, and there's a basketball game that's going on, and it's like a vanity project while everyone else is existing at Hot Topic.
A lot of dudes wearing fanny packs over their shoulders.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is Hot Topic.
A lot of I'm sure that
these were the Vamp kids from South Park also that were here.
Yeah.
And they had no interest in the basketball game. And then there's a lot of talent on the basketball court. They're not really even playing basketball, though.
They're not playing basketball, yeah. So we got there at halftime, and the guy, the dude from America's Got Talent that throws paint onto onto he like makes these messy paintings, and then he flips them upside down. And you're like, oh my God, it's Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs the whole time.
Holy. Yeah, what was he doing there?
Yeah, what was he doing? What was he?
Yeah. It's like almost magic.
Yeah. He's the halftime entertainment. Which in and of itself is it's a high school basketball game, and you got like this. You booked this dude from America's Got Talent to like,
and he's trying to get the crowd involved. And honestly, they were the most involved in him doing the painting because again, basketball is you know, it's like I don't get it.
Yes, this was an opportunity for them to like put this on the gram. They were like, I'm gonna take a video of this. And then the painting is Kanye's mother, Donda. Which, you know, like
the namesake for the academy and the team.
Yeah, which again, like the whole vibe of it all, and I don't begrudge Kanye for like wanting to honor his mother. What is like weird to me is that like there was definitely a cult of strangers who were almost worshiping this woman who I'm sure was a great woman, and I don't, but it like the vibe was like, what are we doing here? Like, what is going on? Like, what, you know what I mean? Like I felt like I was in Bizarro Land, like every step of the way. I'm like, what? I just wanted to talk to everybody. Like, why are you here? What? Like,
Well,
I'm here as a joke. Why are you here?
Yeah, and then we figured out why they were there, and it was because of the merch.
The merch.
And there's a merch table, right? And there's a sweatshirt, and there's shorts and a t-shirt. There's 3 items that you can buy. All of them, they just had the Donda Dove on them that look like it's screen printed on. We walk up, and there's like 3 or 4 people in line. We're like, this might be too long for us to wait. Someone walks over to you, right? And then it's like, sir, are you looking at merch?
Yeah, I didn't actually want to get anything. I think Jim wanted to buy something.
Yeah,
I think
we wanted to get something for Jim.
And I wanted to feel what they felt.
Yeah, I was curious how much
they were Gildan shirts, but they were selling for $140.
Yep.
So we walk over to the booth, and there are a couple people in line, and I was like, that line's too long. And then the security guard taps me on the shoulder. He's like, are you trying to get some merch? And I was like, not really, dude. I just want to like see the prices. And he's like, well, the line's back there, and he points across the hall is the auxiliary gym of Cal State Northridge,
the volleyball gym.
The volleyball gym.
If you know the Matadome, there's the volleyball gym, and there's the basketball gym.
Where there are like there are ropes set up where
3,000 people.
Yes.
Where you have to go through a line to then like you get to the front.
It's like if you're in line to go to the Sistine Chapel or something.
Space Mountain.
I mean?
And then when you get to the front of that line, they then allow you to go to the merch line. And I was like,
and they don't tell you the prices before you get in the line. So you get in the line blind. You know what I mean? And then by the time you wait 2 hours, you're like, I'll pay anything to get out of this.
Basketball.
We didn't want any merch. We just were curious. So I told you guys, like, you guys were like, we don't need to wait. I was like, no, let's do it. Let's wait. Let's see what happens. And we stood in line for 15 minutes. It did not move. And I was like, all right, never mind. And so we don't know how much the merch was. I don't know.
We looked it up online, Jim.
Oh, did you?
Jim, you have the numbers, right?
The sweatshirt was $200. T-shirt was $140, and I think the shorts were $100, or they were $140 also.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and again, it just has the Donda Dove on them. And
not all of them. Some are just black.
Some of them are just
no, I'm
black.
Yeah, just no logo, nothing.
Titus, you had your cowboy hat on, and while we were in the merch line, you would think that you would be the only person in a cowboy hat, right? That's what we're standing in line.
I had a cowboy hat and I had a jean jacket, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I was like, I look ridiculous.
Yeah.
I look, I wasn't even doing it to stand out per se. I was just trying to wear all black, and that's like kind of what I had, and I threw it on. And as we were in a merch line, there was another man in line with a cowboy hat and a black jean jacket on. And I was like,
and literally stood like right next to you. And then I was like, I think this room might be too small for the both of you guys. I mean, someone's got to, this is a dual moment. You know what I mean? You just got to pull out your pistol at that point.
So, I don't know what else there really is to recap. I'd say that
it is as nonsensical as we ever.
College basketball's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think we have to worry about Donda Academy sinking college basketball. I don't think my suspicion was correct that if a 5-star announces he's going to Donda, I think college basketball's going to be.
It's going to be okay. The thing that I was thinking about, I was watching Robert Dillingham, who is, a top 10 recruit, going to NC State, and I'm watching him last night in this Donda game, and all I could think to myself was, this guy's going to go from flying to Miami to Chicago, to Los Angeles, then he's going to be playing at NC State.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's going to feel like Donda was like the NBA, and he's going back to high school, even though he went from high school to college. You know, that's the only concern about Donda. How can you go from this life of luxury down to college?
I recently learned that Kanye's appeal to these kids is that he's a fashion icon, right? Like I understand. I'm telling on myself that I'm not hip to what's going on.
Kanye has a deal with Gap. Yeezy.
Yeah. So because it always confused me, like why, like I get like our generation might be into the idea of like playing basketball for Kanye, but like why would like 16 and 17-year-olds care? And then
for the brand,
it's for the brand. And then it dawned on me that like so his whole motivation with this is just to is it to launch a shoe? Is it to basically like get NBA players in 5 years, say
he has
that
a
are wearing
he
Yeezys?
has a Yeezy basketball shoe. His goal is to be Michael Jordan but bigger. You know what I mean?
Got it. That makes sense. That's
and he looks at Jordan shoes and he's like, I want to have Yeezys on all the players.
Michael Jordan but bigger. Easy. Done. Let's do it.
Walt Disney but bigger. Yes. Michael Jordan but bigger. Michael Jackson but bigger. That is what Kanye West is going at.
Tied together. Yeah. No, but before I went to the Donda game, I thought to myself, as NFTs are taking over all of all of society, I thought to myself, who would buy, like, as much as people talk about NFTs, I don't know a single person that owns an NFT, has tried to purchase an NFT, all that. And then I went to this Donda game and I was like, oh, all of these people are the NFT people.
Yes.
These are the people that are spending all their money. They're putting their life savings into an NFT and a $200 sweatshirt.
Kyle would have thrived there, by the way.
Kyle.
Yeah, like that would have been. That'd have been.
We needed Kyle there to be our translator.
Yeah.
Explain what the hell is.
He just said it was lit, Mark.
Yeah.
It just means it's a good time.
I will give Kanye credit for this. He like brought all races together. I was surprised by that. Like, the demographics that were there.
No, everyone.
Dude, everybody.
Everyone was represented.
I didn't realize Kanye had a mass appeal like that. There was like every demographic you could think of was.
But they were all the same.
But they were all the same.
You know what I mean?
They all were like in the same cult.
They all believe in Donda.
Oh man, that's enough. Let's. I'm sick of talking about an egomaniac who wants everyone to worship at his feet and kiss his feet and bow down to him at every turn. So let's pivot away from that and talk about Coach K. Who?
Coach K's jealous of Donda Academy for sure. He already has the K Academy, you know what I mean? But he should make it like literally the K Academy.
Well, K, that's not fair because K, leading into this North Carolina game, has done a handful of press conferences where he has said he does not want to make it about him. He has said that Duke University was his for 42 years, but he's ready to pass it off to John Shire and
it doesn't even make sense what he said. He said it's been mine for 42 years, but it's Duke's forever. It's like, wait a second. So it was yours for 40. So it hasn't been Duke's for 42 years. Yeah, right. So and now you're giving it back to Duke. And like, what's Duke's like? We don't know what to do with this.
I've held this university hostage for 42 years that I have. No.
And then Duke tried to make a decision for their next coach. They're like, okay, coach, thank you so much. We're going to move forward. We're going to make a Duke decision. We choose Tommy Amaker. And he was like,
no, give me the university back. I'm going to
give me that back.
So Duke versus North Carolina. In case you missed, folks, Duke will be playing North Carolina. It'll be Coach K's last game in Cameron Indoor Stadium on Saturday.
Yep.
Duke has invited every former Coach K player back, which comes out to 208 players, is what they said. I think someone did that. Does that include transfers? Does that include the guys that?
I don't think so.
I don't think it does. Did Rashid Suleiman get a?
Did Jabinajay, Michael Jabinajay? Did Derek Thornton?
Yeah. Did Marquise Bolden? How does he say it? Marcus?
I think it's just Marcus at the end. I think in the end he just went with Marcus.
I thought he got Dukified.
He did. Like he did like the first 3 years, and then I think at the end he was like, "I'm just Marcus Bolden."
So he invited 208 players back.
Yes.
Apparently, the reports are that they expect 70 to 80. Does that feel low to you? Because when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, that's it."
Very low.
70 guys are coming back.
Yeah.
Out of 208.
I mean,
I don't know.
It's the difference between a brotherhood and a family. You know what I mean? A brotherhood, there's only a certain amount of people that can be there. And Coach K, as we know, Corey Maggette, is he going to be there?
Great question.
Like there's guys, Josh McRoberts, is he going to be there?
Roberts.
There's
probably not going to be.
Greg Paulus. Is Greg Paulus going to be there? Maybe so he can, help build his resume up. But like the way that it ended for GP, I wouldn't go back.
I think Paulus sees it as a networking opportunity.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's going there for LinkedIn purposes.
Lance Thomas, he's another guy.
He'll be there.
You think he'll be there?
I think he'll be there.
All right.
I think he shows. And they try to act like, what do you mean nothing happened here?
Yeah. Did Pete Gaudette get invited, you think?
No. Well, maybe did. If they lose, Pete Gaudette goes on his record. He's in the building. Coach K's like, this wasn't on me.
Pete, come here, I want to tell you something. It's like, gotcha, bitch. And he throws him in the seat and then takes off running.
Or what if they're down at halftime? Coach K makes Shire go out for the second half, and that's his first loss. That would be smart.
Where's your head at with all of this? We'll talk about the game. We're obviously talking about it is all about K. We're doing a podcast tomorrow. We're gonna go back to your house and watch the game and do a post game show. We'll talk about like the actual game then.
Yeah.
For now, it's all about K. So as a North Carolina guy, where is your head at with all of this going into seeing all the coverage, hearing all the stories?
I mean, it's exactly what I reported and scooped originally. This is the Coach K farewell tour, and this is the final act. You know what I mean? We already have Jay Billis outside of Krzyzewskiville talking about why Coach K learned French and all these ridiculous stories that you're like, what, and how he wouldn't have been a lawyer without Coach K. And he wouldn't be in broadcasting without Coach K. And, every single person is now coming out. And, I'm pretty sure we're going to hear soon that, Derek Jeter wouldn't have played baseball without Coach K. I mean, that is the level that we're getting to with these stories. And if you see the slate for ESPN this weekend, I mean, you're going to get blued out. I mean, you're going to get this is going to be the Coach K blue blood weekend. You can't dodge it. You can't escape it. You just got to soak it in. And as Carolina people, this is everything that we always knew. I mean, the ego of Coach K that we have always talked about and always said, this is the difference between Dean and K. One says this program is mine, and the other one says this is my players' program. You know what I mean? This is the difference between the two, and you can sum it up like that. You know what I mean? And I don't have to say much else. That is who they are. And so this moment in time, he is who we thought he was. You know what I mean? So it's a confirmation bias. You know what I mean? It's like everything I've always thought, yes. I'm seeing it on display. But I also know that Coach K does great for cancer. I know Coach K learned a lot from Jimmy V and Dean Smith about how to be a good human being, and I think he practices those things.
Wow, look at you.
So I acknowledge that. You know what I mean? But other than that, it is the vanity that we all suspect.
It is. I was getting more emotional than I thought I was. When I was watching it, I was tearing up. Okay. No, watching all the stuff though, like it is. I'm torn because on the one hand, it is over the top. It is obnoxious as hell. It is like this is what ESPN does better than any. Like for everyone likes to rip on like ESPN.
If there's anyone that deserves the moment, it's Coach K. I will say that. Like, sure, give him the full runway.
Everyone talks about what ESPN sucks at, but one thing they are great at is just shoving something down your throat nonstop. And this time it is Coach K. And so like my instinct is to push it away. Like shut it. Like who cares? He's one man. It doesn't matter. But you're right. If there's anybody that deserves it, I guess it is him and what he has built at Duke. And he is the greatest. In all seriousness, he's the greatest basketball coach in the history of college basketball. Or the most successful.
The winningest.
The winningest. Yeah.
The winningest.
Greatest, I think, is not the best, but the greatest. Definitely the greatest, not the best. Rick Pitino's the best. He's the greatest. So in that part, like I understand.
Rick Pitino's going to come on our show, by the way. I think he likes that we acknowledge that he's the GOAT.
We're going to talk about Rick Pitino more in a little bit, by the way. But I did like find myself this week. I have been sort of like digesting all the stories and what everybody's saying, and there is like a little bit of the feeling of like it will be weird moving forward because this is the one constant. And you know, I mean, people that listen to our show know that like we spend more time talking about K than just about anyone because he's a content goldmine. You can't help it. Like everything that comes out of his mouth is hilarious. So we love to make fun of him, but he is the greatest. And I don't know. It's just it is like a weird deal because I cannot imagine my life without Duke basketball in it in some capacity. That like having Duke there, and I know I'm preaching to the choir because this is but I'm saying this as an outsider. Like Duke has always it has always like cast a shadow over all of college basketball. It is always just kind of
they're the evil empire.
They really are.
Yeah.
And it's not Duke.
This is the end of the Death Star.
But it's not Duke. Like that's the point. And I think Kay saying like it's been my university for 42 years. He was absolutely right. Like it's very egotistical to say that, but it's true. So I guess like in that regard, like I can't kill him too much because the reasons we hate Duke, you could say it's JJ Redick and Grayson Allen and Christian Laettner and like on and on and on. It's Coach K. It's
attitude
it starts at
leadership.
the top. Yeah, that's it. So like I genuinely, when John Shire takes over, and even if he's great and it feels similar, I don't know if I don't think we'll ever get to that level of like of I don't know if hatred's the right word, but just like interest in Duke. You know what I mean? Like because like to me, Duke becomes just another good college basketball program when John Shire takes over. The whole mystique, the whole the whole like other because Duke has operated independently of all of college basketball. They've always had their own stuff going on, and that is because of how
it's very tight.
Yes, runs his stuff.
Yeah,
and I feel like when Shire takes over, it's going to be they like welcome him back into the general public of college basketball, blend it all together, and now you're just like one of the rest,
which is their nightmare.
Yeah,
that is what
my nightmare is a guy who loves to just like. If we have nothing to talk about, I just Google Coach K, hit enter, and then I'm like, all right, that'll lead the show.
Yeah, I mean that is what Coach K is trying to. I think that's why he stopped the Tommy Amaker thing because then it becomes like you said, it is just another program in the conversation amongst all these other college basketball powerhouses, and he wants to keep, maybe not control the program. He's, I don't want control. Who said that? I say it. I mean, I'll take it. He definitely wants the control, but maybe not the basketball part of it. But he also knows that like that air of, this is the Death Star, this is the place.
Yeah.
That is the cachet of Duke. And if you don't have that, what do you really have? What is the Death Star without Darth Vader? Nothing.
I don't know my Star Wars lore.
Nothing.
Okay. Is that a spoiler?
It's nothing. Nobody cares, okay?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's the concern with Coach K. He's worried about the apathy more than anything.
Duke's going to be good. I mean, like, their recruiting
Sure.
class is insane next
But
year.
what's
They're
the
gonna be fun,
allure?
but yeah, like, but is it? Yeah. Is it as polar? Are they going to be as polarizing?
No.
No. So.
And the new number that we have to praise now, that ESPN, you said they're shoving it down our face. I can't get it out of my head. 5,307, the lowest ticket price to be in Cameron
The
Indoor
get-in price?
for Coach K's last game. 5,307. I don't know why they keep shoving. Does any have it? They were like, it's 3 Super Bowls are the only ones that have been more per ticket. And it's like,
Is
Big Ten said
what do people expect to have? Like, is the America's Got Talent guy painting at halftime?
I
Like,
think
what
so.
is-
Yeah.
what kind of show are we expecting? Because the game is not.
Is Leitner going to be there?
Leitner's going to be there. Dude, should we get our predictions in? Who is? There's going to be a moment where K comes out, obviously, and by moment I mean like probably like an hour and a half.
So have you heard? I'll tell you.
Procedure,
What. So they're lying to you at home. Game is starting at 6. The game is not starting at 6. The game is starting at 6:20 because we have a 20-minute pregame ceremony for Coach K. And then if that's not enough for you, you're like, all right, pregame ceremony, get over it. It's fine. There's a postgame ceremony for Coach K as well. So he has 2 ceremonies that will be happening during this broadcast.
It's actually ridiculous.
I didn't even know that was. I didn't know that you could have. I didn't know that you could have 2 ceremonies other than like my Super
They're not doing
Sweet
one at
16.
halftime?
The only time I've seen that is my Super Sweet 16. I did not know that you could do
The
that.
halftime one too.
Yeah, probably.
Shoehorn that in there.
I love the America's Got
Great.
Talent guy's painting. Everyone thinks it's going to be a painting of Coach K. He flips it over and it's Kanye's mom again. Everyone at Cameron's like, what the hell was that?
How much was Roy Williams ticket to Roy Williams last game? Like $10?
God.
$10, $12?
Nobody knew it was his last
Did,
game, Jim, because he didn't do a farewell tour.
You buy the number
yeah,
one
he's
meal
doing
at
it this year.
Bojangles, they throw a ticket in with it, I think is how it worked.
Bojangles.
The funniest part about it all to me is that K is pretending as though he has no control over any of this. That he's just like he's like, I don't know. They like his attitude seems to be like, I don't want it to be about me, but like they
said
set up this ceremony. So
he
I guess
said verbatim, it's not about me, it's about us.
like all he has to do is make one call and say,
what is
like, no
us?
ceremonies, no anything. Like I want to win the game and focus on the tournament and our team.
Yeah.
Or like we can do like one quick thing at the end or so,
Yeah. No, he's saying I want a pregame ceremony, a postgame ceremony. I want to be the 1 seed in Chicago in my hometown. That's the other thing. He's demanding. He's
right.
already asking to be
That's
one.
right.
He already expects to be a 1 seed, and 2, he's demanding where they're going to be a 1 seed.
This is the problem with farewell tours is that no matter how great you are, no matter how likable you are, and Coach K is certainly not likable to the general college basketball fans, but no matter what level you're at, there will reach a point, and people listening are like, we reached this point in November, but there will reach a point where everyone's like, enough is enough. Like, God damn it, I don't need.
And it's
I don't
not
need
like
this anymore.
Kobe where he can like go score 60 points in his last game, and we're all like, this is why this guy is incredible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what can Coach K do other than get like teed up or like smack a ref or something? You know what I mean? Then I'd be like, wow, that's the Coach K. I like that.
That is true. What are we looking for? If you're a Duke fan, what are you looking for to be like, that's vintage K?
Teed up.
That's what we came for.
Like Carolina's up 10 points. Coach K gets teed up, and then Duke goes on like a 15-0 run. They take
That would
the
be
lead, and
that's
then
the
they win
equivalent of like Hulk Hogan coming out of WrestleMania and doing a leg drop.
Yeah.
Is Coach K getting teed up?
Yeah. And him coming to the ref,
Yeah.
like saying, "Come," you know what I mean? Like it's the whole thing.
What about him yelling at the Cameron Crazies to shut up?
Yes.
What about that?
Yes.
Is that vintage K as well? I would
think
say.
so. I think so. I think they're booing Capel as he walks in. Like he's like walking in to get. He's like thinking they're like boo again.
In all seriousness, my final thought on K before the game starts is I do think, as much as I like to make fun of him, I'm going to get serious here.
Okay.
I do think the good has outweighed the bad through the years.
I agree. I would agree with that.
So I'll say that.
I think the good has outweighed the bad. I do.
I think
I
all
think
told,
I think he is taken.
I genuinely believe this. He has been a net positive to college basketball.
Here's what I would say. I think Coach K, like he deserved like his piece of cake, and he ate his piece of cake, and you're like, great, you're having a great time. But then he started like eating other people's pieces of cakes. You know what I mean? Like 3 times being the head coach of the Olympic team. I'm glad Bob Knight apparently called him out on this. That's egregious.
I think this is where it went into overdrive for me. Is
And
like
how he got that job? You want to hear? You know how Coach
What?
K got the USA job?
How?
Dean Smith.
You serious?
Yeah. Jerry Colangelo
Or
asked.
is that just NC
No.
propaganda that you-
Jerry Colangelo has told the story. Jerry Colangelo asked Dean Smith who he thought should be the coach of Team USA, and Dean Smith, between Popovich and Coach K, and Dean Smith said Coach K.
K, and then Coach K would not.
And then Coach K would never like. That's what I'm saying. He should have just got his cake and then ate it.
I
He kept eating more cake.
I would
That's
agree.
all
I agree with that in the sense that, like, for me, I started rolling my, like, I never really hated
Yeah.
K. I like cheering against Duke, but like, frankly, it was because they were good, and I hated that
Of
they were number
course.
1 all the time. But that run of the late '90s, early 2000s,
The 2000s.
I didn't hate I hated the
Yeah.
teams because they were like they were Alabama football. It was like this is disgusting. Every single year they're a national title threat. This is pissing me off.
But then they were also ultimate frauds with JJ. You know what I mean?
That's
Like
right.
they were like the biggest
JJ
frauds
Boye.
of all time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like they would have that too, where you're just like,
Oh,
yes.
JJ Redick. I heard Jay, and I just immediately went to Jay Williams.
Oh, also
Yeah.
frauds. I mean, there's a lot of.
2002
That's what I'm saying. A lot of frauds.
Yeah, JJ Redick. The JJ Redick years weren't even. I didn't even feel like that was that. What flipped for me was like around 2015, they win the national title,
Yes.
and then you're right. Like there was a sense as I started to watch like K more and more. He like started. He basically took Calipari's entire approach,
Yes. It says mine.
said it's mine.
Yeah.
Then he
Stole
started.
Dean Smith's approach.
Yeah, and then he
before that,
started.
mine.
He went from like a
Stole Jimmy V's approach. Mine.
the facade started cracking. I think
Too much cake.
of because like the whole the thing he was selling the whole time was like I recruit these guys to this prestigious
Yeah.
university, student athletes, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
And then he starts doing one and done game, which spits in the face of like everything he was kind of standing for
Before.
forever.
When he was like, I'm still a Bobby Knight disciple.
Which is fine because you're like you're doing the one and done game. You just want to win. Like I don't begrudge you for that. But then he continued to like lecture people and
Yeah.
talk to Dylan Brooks after the game and go into locker. Like when all of that
Lie
stuff
about it,
started
yeah.
happening and it became more in your face. I don't know. And I was like, all right, what are we doing here? And then at that point, I'm not out on K, but I was just like, I get where Tate's coming from.
He's the winningest coach of all time.
Yeah.
That's where we leave it.
He's-
But who, like what
He's
else?
done more good than bad.
He's done more good than bad. That's how we leave it. I want to ask you, like,
like Michael Jordan retirement. We're like, he's done more good than bad. Like I'll give that to him.
I'll give that to him. Do you think like Zion's gonna be like what's the biggest name Duke player that's not gonna be there? Because
The
I don't
biggest
think
guy-
I don't think Zion's
Well, the
gonna be
big
there.
like literally the biggest guy that won't be there is Zion. But the biggest name,
the biggest name. Maybe Jahlil Okafor is the biggest.
is JJ's going.
JJ's going.
Leitner's going.
Leitner's going. Grant Hill's got to go.
Grant Hill
Jay
has to
Williams
go.
will be there, of course. Jay Williams will be there. like-
Kyrie. I mean, it's Kyrie. Kyrie's not going to be there.
Kyrie's
There's no way Kyrie's going to be there.
yeah, I think Kyrie could be there. I've heard some rumblings he might be.
Oh,
there.
really?
Yeah,
LeBron. Think
That's-
he's going to be there?
that would be amazing if LeBron was there. If Obama and LeBron were there,
Yeah.
like together, and they
Peyton
gave Coach K and Peyton
Jason
Manning.
Garrett.
Yeah. Tony Romo.
Ken Jong who went to North Carolina because the 2K.
Michael
loves Duke.
Phelps.
Yeah, that's right. Michael Phelps is
Yep.
a
Dude, they were geniuses. They just
Make-
like invite people to go to a game, And then
Make-
people are like, "I'm interested to go to Cameron Indoor," and they're like, "They're a Duke fan."
make
with a
your
hat on.
make your prediction. Who's the guy that has? I'm just thinking of when Bob Knight came back to Indiana a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And all of his former players were around him, but there were like the core guys.
The inner circle.
Yeah, there was the inner circle. Mike Woodson and Isaiah Thomas were like right there, like putting their arms around him, all that kind of stuff. Who are like the 2 guys that you're saying get to stand right next to him during the ceremonies?
It's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a fight to see who does that because I think that Amaker assumes it'll be him, but as we know, who knows? Dawkins probably assumes he's in there. Chris
Mhm.
Collins assumes that he's in there. Capel assumes he's in there. Carrawell assumes that he's in there.
No,
Yes, he's on
This is
staff
all-
right now.
it's all ridiculous.
These are all these guys. They are all going to be trying to fight.
But
They're going to be the real estate agents in the picture, all trying to fight into the picture.
yeah,
and it's going to be. I think JJ might be close by.
JJ will be
I think
close.
Kay's going to bring JJ close. Billis will be in there trying to fight in for a spot.
I think it's the media. I think it's the media move. I think the guys that hold the most weight are Billis, Grant Hill,
Yeah.
who calls he's
He's
the
Team
Final
USA
Four.
also now.
Yeah.
Grant Hill
Yep.
runs USA basketball.
He still calls games for CBS.
Yeah,
right? He's
yeah,
calling
yeah.
the Final Four.
Yeah.
And JJ, because JJ's now like a media star. So like,
Yeah.
he needs. Is Jason Tatum gonna be there? No, they're gonna play.
They
Have
got
a
to
game
play
or something?
probably.
Yeah. I don't know.
Quinn
That's gonna
Snyder.
be interesting.
Quinn Snyder will be
He-
close if he doesn't have a game either.
Yeah.
Kay loves Quinn Snyder. I think Quinn Snyder is like the insurance policy. Like if everything's going bad with Shire, he calls in the Quinn Snyder favor.
Put me down for Christian Leitner is shockingly not as close as we thought.
Oh,
That's the takeaway.
He's periphery.
Yeah. Christian Leitner, the guy who is quote unquote the greatest Duke player of all time.
He's chosen
college player of
He's
all
chosen
time.
Grant Hill over Leitner.
Yeah. I think my prediction is Leitner's on the fringes of this mob.
And so is Jay
forward
Williams.
players. Oh yeah.
Jay Williams is on the fringes.
Oh yeah. They're gonna invite Jay. They're gonna tell Jay the game's on Sunday.
Yeah.
And he shows
It's
up at
basically like
Taylor.
who's at the kids table. You know what I mean? Like he might be at the kids table. You know, Danny Ferry's gonna be close by. Elton
We should make a
Brand.
graphic Fox should make a graphic of like which starting five, which Duke starting
Boozer.
five would you take? The Coach K's favorites or the Coach K? Outcast?
Yeah, the outcast. Honestly, the outcasts. The outcasts are nasty. McGetty, McRoberts. I mean, there's a lot of
Dunleavy?
talent. Yeah.
Where's Dunleavy going to be?
I think Dunleavy's like, he's kind of, you know how Larry Bird is like past it. You know, like they have these events and everyone's like, why isn't Larry coming? He's like, because I've moved on with my life. I think Dunleavy's moved on.
Dunleavy's the greatest white guy to go to Duke and be awesome and play to like
He wasn't hated.
to
I
not
mean,
be hated and not have like the stink of.
I respected Mike Dunleavy when
Luke Kennard followed in his footsteps. I don't think people hated Luke Kennard as much,
No,
but
it's
Mike
hard.
Dunleavy,
Hard to hate him.
Mike Dunleavy was he broke through. He broke through the mold. I don't know how he did.
Well,
it.
especially he had Lee Melchione next to him. I mean, and Shane Battier.
Boozer.
Like, I mean, there's so much focus on Shane Battier, like the hatred. Shane Battier is going to be close too.
Jim, are you just googling Duke players and just
no,
like?
but I did just look up Dunleavy's teammates, and Boozer was on that.
Jim's like doing the.
Who was that point
Sporkle
guard?
for-
Ewing? Daniel Ewing?
Yeah,
Love Daniel Ewing.
Is he going to be there, or he's working it? Is he like? Sure.
He's parking cars.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that wouldn't surprise me.
All right, enough about that. Let's talk to the real man who is dominating the college basketball world right now. After scoring 18 points against Michigan State.
Joey
last night.
Buckets.
Yeah, Joey Buckets, Joey Brunk. We talked to him for like 10 minutes. Here you go. He looks like Matthew McConaughey. He plays like Akeem Olajuwon. And last night he stole America's heart with 18 points against Michigan State. He came into the game, Tate, having 32 points on the season. Was absolutely electric. Had the entire Schottenstein Center eating out of the palm of his hand. His name is Joey Brunk. He joins us now. Joey, what have the last like 12 to 16 hours been like for you?
It's been a whirlwind. I actually got my score back on my LSAT to go to law school yesterday morning at 9 a.m. Went well, so that was like a nice way to kind of get the day rolling. It was a little nerve-wracking start to my day at 9 a.m. as I'm logging onto my computer. Like I really hope my 2.5 months of prep wasn't for nothing. I'm gonna look like an idiot and have to lie to everyone saying I did well on it. And in all reality, I didn't. So I already had all the contingency plans in place. So it's been a crazy.
So you're saying as I've tried to tell everybody, student athlete. Yeah. That's what we do at Ohio
Get
State.
your LSAT scores, they're good, and that shoots you to a whole nother level of confidence, and then you drop 18 points on Michigan State.
Yeah, it was there were a lot of green lights yesterday. A lot of green lights.
What has it been like to watch everybody treat you like you're basically me, to be honest? Like your talent level is me, and like you being able to actually score on a low block is like shocking to people when if you've watched you throughout your career, it's like this man's got moves for days.
Yeah.
Have you felt like when the crowds, because it seemed like when you started getting hot, the crowd was almost sarcastically cheering for you.
It was like
and
Lynn
chanting
Sanity.
MVP. Yeah. And then like somewhere along the line, they're like, oh my God, like this dude can actually play. So like, what was that like for you? Was some small part of you like, what the hell? Like, I'm not like not a walk-on for God's sakes.
Well, that was like kind of one of the things was somebody asked me, and they're like, this must just be amazing. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it feels good, but do you think I was expecting to go out there and lay an egg? Like I was expecting to play well. Like I put in this time for a while and had some success. Like I was expecting to play well. And I went in with that in mind.
And Joey, on your first basket of this game, you got double teamed. A double comes over, and then you go over your left shoulder and make a little right turnaround hook. And the announcers on the call, I don't know if you've seen the actual game yet. I mean, they were blown away. They're like, this man had a double team come. He goes over his left shoulder and makes a turnaround. Like, they were blown away. And then they were saying that you weren't on the scouting report. But I would have to say this. If they brought a double team over, obviously Michigan State had you on the scouting report. So can we go ahead and say that you were definitely on the scouting report?
Yeah, I mean, I might not have been on the scouting report. You know, I said yesterday, I haven't done a whole lot this year to put me on the scouting report. So I can't really fault them.
But they brought the double. That's out of respect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all I saw.
Oh, the double is the greatest sign of respect you can get on the low block. Of, hey, we got to send two your way. That's always a good feeling.
Joey, I got to be honest. I was ready to hit the panic button. In fact, I may have hit the panic button.
You were
the
distraught
Buckeyes after the Nebraska loss, and you have breathed new life into me. I last night, like I'm wearing my OSU sweatshirt. I got my Buckeyes hat. Like
I want to thank you, Joey.
I dusted it all off after last night, and I gotta ask you from inside the locker room, what is the vibe around the program? What is the vibe around the team as we are in March? Because I'll speak on behalf of all the Ohio State fans. Our buttholes could not be any tighter right now with like what happened last year. And like watching, you know, like you guys win at Illinois and everyone's excited. Then we followed up with 2 losses. It feels emotionally as fans, we are all over the map trying to make sense of this team. As someone who's on the team and is inside the locker room, where are you guys at with it all?
I think we feel good. And, you know, one of the things that I had said to the team, and it's kind of been something that has been like just said sarcastically in our family that, you know, kind of turned into a little bit of a truth is, you know, my dad would always say the sun comes up tomorrow. You know, I said that to the team after Nebraska, and I said, fellas, we're playing Thursday. It's regardless, sun's coming up tomorrow. So we either get back to work tomorrow or we send it in. And, you know, thankfully we were you know, dialed in, and same thing for Sunday. You know, last night was great, but that don't mean a whole lot come Sunday.
I love it.
And the sun did come up. You were right, Joey.
We were locked in. Did LeBron text you? I was curious about that. LeBron's a big Buckeye fan. We know that. Did he reach out or anything? Did you get a text from LeBron?
No text from LeBron, but I got a message from ET. So I guess that's
nice.
He was at the game.
Close.
Yeah, he was at the game last night. Yeah.
I was trying to get his attention when I was shooting free throws. I tried to get his attention. I was trying to wink at him, but I don't think we completely synced up for it.
And Joey, we have to ask this because Greg Oden is our third co-host, and he's obviously on staff there at Ohio State. So we just want to get a check-in from your side. You're a fellow Big
from Indianapolis.
Yeah. So I mean, and Bigs get along. They have a separate, you know, they talk at, you know, they have their own jargon, their own, you know, way of living life. So what has Greg imparted to you wisdom-wise as a Big?
Coach Oden. How was Coach Oden helped you along the way?
Big to Big.
You know, I think the first thing is to be able to like call Gio a friend is a pretty cool thing, you know, growing up and watching him play. And, you know, it's like, you know, the success that he's had is just remarkable, and to learn from him is just a neat deal for me. Just being from Indianapolis and you know, being here at Ohio State, just kind of some of the, you know, there aren't that many parallels, but there's enough to make it pretty cool.
Nice. What's the plan with the lawyer plan? What's the move here? And most importantly, how do Tate and I take advantage of this?
Yeah, we need a lawyer
and all that. Like, what kind of law are you trying to get into?
I haven't, you know, completely figured that out. I joked with all of my manager buddies when to get into coaching and said, you know, whenever there's a scandal involving you guys, at least you have a good lawyer in your back pocket. And,
that's a good point.
As long as the university is paying for it, we'll jack up the rate, and you know, maybe you guys can get a cut out of it too. We'll just make it a family affair.
I love that. So, you specialize in NCAA scandals.
Yes. You're like, look, I played this game.
I know how it works.
Inside.
Yeah, I might have a little inside scoop on on all that. So
Joey, you're the man. We appreciate it making time for us. Congrats on a big game last night. But as you said, it's in the past. The sun comes up. We got Michigan on Sunday.
Not done yet.
We're not done yet.
Yeah.
Just
sure.
here's like, I don't know if this is gonna help or if this is gonna motivate the team at all. But tell them I said win the national championship. Tell them I said that. And I
Pass
think,
that along.
yeah, I it would really be cool if we just won the national championship this year, Joey. So let's try to do that. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind winning the natty either. Would not mind that.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Joey.
Thanks, fellas. I appreciate
All
it.
right, good time. All right, let's do Big Ten Stat of the Week brought to you by Discover. When it comes to your credit card, Discover believes in having real people available 24/7 to help answer your questions. Discover, exceptionally common sense. Tate, you want to go first? You want me to start?
I can go first. I mean,
All right.
mine's a pretty simple one. This was actually shared with us this morning. It comes from Jared Burson, who I think you got your Big Ten Stat of the Week from last week. So shout out to Jared. He obviously knows what he's doing here. This is the Big Ten Stat of the Week.
He's a Michigan man, I believe.
Michigan man, giving you Iowa stats. Keegan Murray's last 8 games, 25.8 points per game, 61% from the field, 2 threes a game, 2 blocks per game. Why does that matter, you ask? 2 D1 players over the last 10 seasons have an 8-game stretch averaging 25 points on 60% shooting with 2 threes and blocks per game. Luka Garza in 2020-21, early season, and Keegan Murray in the heart of the Big Ten play.
Wow. That's a hell of a stat. That might be Big Ten Stat of the Year, dude.
Former teammates at Iowa, National Player of the Year, Luka Garza getting back in there. Keegan Murray, maybe this is his argument for being National Player of the Year. If you show him that stat, how could they say you're not?
Jared bringing the heat, man. That is a hell of a Big Ten stat.
Oh, my God. I'm dizzy after reading it, honestly.
My Big Ten Stat of the Week comes to you courtesy of Purdue. At Purdue, men's
Purdue's my.
stats.
Can I just quickly say Purdue's my favorite Big Ten team to get a stat
Yeah.
from? You know what I mean?
Oh, they
Neil Armstrong. Shout out to you.
Purdue. I think I upset Purdue somewhere along the line, because they all their Twitter accounts used to follow me because I don't really care that they don't anymore. But
They unfollowed you?
I'm not pointing it out because my feelings are hurt. I'm pointing it out because it's like I'm trying to track how much they're into Big Ten stat, because they would do Big Ten stats of the day like crazy.
They thought we
Big Ten Stat of
weren't
the Week.
laughing. They thought we were celebrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would point it out, and then they like followed me, and like we had this relationship of I'm a boost. Maybe they don't follow me because I'm a booster, and they feel like it's
too close.
too close. But I don't know. I checked recently, and like all the accounts have unfollowed me. It's probably because of this. At Purdue, MBB Stats is the Twitter account. So
Love that.
if you love Purdue men's basketball stats, that's the account to follow. Underclassmen, which are defined as freshmen or sophomores nationally, with 500 points, 140 rebounds, 90 assists, 30 steals, and 15 blocks. Tate, are you ready for the list? This
Yes.
is the list.
Yeah.
Jaden Ivey of Purdue, Paolo Banchero of Duke. That's it. That's the list.
Gross.
They should have done that with it. I think if you do you finish the tweet with that. That's it. Period. That's the list. Period. That really tries
Then people were like, "Wow, only
They did.
2 guys."
They didn't do that. I wish they would have. Jaden Ivey has 506 points, 140 rebounds, 90 assists, 30 steals, and 17 blocks. So, if you remember the benchmarks I set, there were 5 different benchmarks. Jaden Ivey is hitting on the dot exactly 3 of them. So they literally just went to like the basketball reference page, typed in
Yes.
his stats, hit enter.
And then
Said, who else is doing this?
And then literally there was only one other guy, and they were like, "Oh my God,
He's pretty good."
It's the best guy that it could be, Paolo Banchero."
And meanwhile, Paolo, I think, has more. No, Paolo has the exact same number of points, way more rebounds, the exact same number of assists, the exact same number of steals, and more blocks. So Paolo is basically better, is what they're like. They put the stat out, and they're basically like, Paolo Banchero is better than Jaden Ivey. And I was like, yeah, that checks out.
It's also like weird that they're the exact same. You know what I mean? But I think that the biggest problem with analytics and all this stuff that happens, this is my old man take, is like the knowledge that the players now know that stuff matters. They're like trying to make sure they check those boxes.
Yeah.
Even if it's subconsciously, you know what I mean? It's just already in their heads. Like I see guys like RJ Davis, for example. Love RJ Davis, but he had a half court shot and he waited until, you know what I mean? And then he threw it up, and I was
He waited till the buzzer?
Yeah, and then he shot it.
Because he didn't want
to. And it was like a little thing, and he probably didn't think about it, and he probably would be like, I didn't actually do that. But, it was like, I see.
It makes you think.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just get out of these guys' heads. And this stat right here, that's going to get in Jaden Ivey's head, because now he's like, I need to get some more blocks. I need to get some more rebounds.
Dude, Jaden
I got to beat Paolo Banchero.
Jaden Ivey trying to get more defensive stats is actually
That's
good. That's actually good.
Never mind. Work that back. It might be good.
All right, let's do some fraud power rankings. And
Woo.
as a reminder, this is your last fraud power rankings of the season, so take diligent notes.
Take a deep breath.
As we are going into March Madness. This is the last. The fraud committee will help you. This is it. This is all you get. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's dive into it. At number 5 on the final fraud power rankings of the season, not of the year, because we'll do. If I remember right, fraud power rankings were started during the NBA playoffs. That was the inspiration behind it. Was trying to determine if Doc Rivers or Paul George was a bigger fraud.
And it turns out both of them are not frauds. Both of them were actually really good separately.
We'll
to
see.
Each other.
We'll find out in June.
Dude, did you watch last night quickly? The Clippers Lakers. Oh my God, the Clippers they were just embarrassing. Reggie Jackson was making a mockery of the Los Angeles Lakers.
That can't be true.
Exactly.
My Lakers.
That's what I'm saying. It cannot be true.
Shout out to Russ Westbrook though. He's putting a monster numbers. Isn't he? I looked it up, dude. He's like averaging like 18, 8, and 8.
He pulled a Grayson Allen last night. Reggie Jackson literally like skipped a Mylou on him, it was like gonna cross him over, and then Russ
Just
stuck
trip
his
him.
leg out to trip him. And I was like, one, Grayson had to respect that, and two, the Lakers. Oh my God.
Woof.
Woof.
All
Yeah,
right. Well,
woof.
we'll do
Yeah.
NBA. I can't wait for NBA.
So if we were
That'll
still
be
doing
fun.
fraud seasons, oh my God.
All right. This week, number 5 on the fraud power rankings, arena security, Tate. Just
Oh.
in general, the security guards at arenas all over this country. So we had the situation with the storm chasers, as you know, at Arkansas, where they were not even allowed entry into the building. They weren't even out of their cars yet.
They had the
driving-
police escort them out
Yes.
of Arkansas. We're pretty
They were
sure.
driving to the arena. They hadn't even gotten out of their cars. They kind of got like pulled over and said, you can't even go in. And there was that whole deal. But put that behind us. We now look to Tuesday night. Boise State clinches an outright Mountain West title, their first Mountain West title since 2015. A Mountain West title that carries extra weight. This is worth like 1.5 Mountain West titles.
Yeah.
The Mountain West is really good this year.
Really good. Four teams.
4 teams in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Boise State wins the league outright. Half of the fans, half of the students rush onto the floor. There is a court storm. It has happened. It is done. There's no the dam is broken.
Mhm.
There are a ton of students on the floor. Meanwhile, underneath one of the baskets, students are trying to join the fun, and there are security guards like body checking them, grabbing them by the arm and like pulling them back and telling them they have to stay in the student section. And Boise State has since put out like an apology. They're like, we never said. They said we accept full responsibility, but this isn't our fault.
yeah. Plausible deniability, our favorite.
But I saw that video and my blood was boiling, Tate. This was let these kids storm, is what I said.
What
It
are
I
these
don't understand.
fines? You know what I mean? Like Greg Sankey, he fines, Arkansas
Yes.
$250,000.
I'll tell you
Where
what
is that money going?
I'll tell you what it is.
What is the point of this?
It's the NBA-ification of college basketball is what it is. And
Yes.
we've talked about this. This
We're leaders on the beat.
we are leaders on the beat. There's a cultural war in basketball going on. And the NBA is trying to be more like college.
It's us and Rick Barry that are fighting on the front lines.
The NBA wants to be more like college. College wants to be more like NBA. And part of that
Uh.
is trying to take away court storming because this would never happen in NBA. You know that.
Never.
This couldn't possibly happen.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't- yeah. None of the fans care.
The only like current team that I could see storming the court is Milwaukee.
Memphis.
Memphis could do it. Memphis, Milwaukee.
John Morant hits a game
Yeah,
winner to
yeah.
beat a team.
Those are the only two I see currently that would do it. Because Oracle would have done it.
Oracle would have, not at the
Nah,
New
not the
Not at the
Chase
New
Center.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm calling out arena security. Let the kids storm. It's preposterous. I don't know how we got here as a college basketball community. I blame all of
It's
the
because of the injury, right? To the one reporter that
the
time?
Iowa State game that
Yeah.
broke his leg.
Yeah. It wasn't even because of the storm.
That's who I blame. I blame
Yeah.
all the old people that are like, not even the people that complain about safety. I blame the people that complain about whether this was storm worthy. Like
Yeah.
if you're a blue blood, you
See,
should
that's
never.
me.
Yeah,
That's what I
no,
complain about. I'm like,
No.
but I like when other
But
people
look at the
storm.
problem you've created. Now you've
Yeah.
you've entered it into the heads of administrators that there are
But
situations.
your Boise State Storm. You know what I mean?
Dude,
Your Boise State Storm.
absolutely ridiculous. So that's number 5. At number 4 on the fraud power rankings, a man whose name you brought up earlier in the show, Rick Pitino.
Oh God, I thought it was Coach K.
Rick Pitino on when was this yesterday that he tweeted
2 days ago.
2 days ago,
The Maryland.
Wednesday. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was Wednesday. He tweeted that the University of Maryland is one of the premier institutions of higher learning. Its basketball program can be among the nation's best. I hope they find the next great Gary Williams. I love coaching at Iona, and I'm totally committed to my players. It will not be me. What a great way to end that tweet.
It will
by the way.
not be
It
me.
will not be me, Rick Pitino.
Yeah.
That's such like a
Yeah. Who will save college basketball? It will not be me.
It will not be me. I'm gonna steal that. That's a great
Just
like you
use
guys
that.
asked me out to dinner on Friday. You're like, "What are you doing Friday? You guys wanna who wants to pick up the tab?" I just like stuff. It will not be me.
What if it
Walk
becomes your
away.
catchphrase and you're like getting married and you're at the altar and everyone's like, just say it, just
You're
do it, do the line.
It will not be me.
It will not be me.
But
Just
Rick Pitino, I put him on the fraud power rankings because he has ruined the coaching carousel speculation. This is he did not need to do this.
Yeah.
Word had broken I think like the day before that he was interviewing with Maryland, or Maryland. What was it that Maryland he was
Reached
their
out.
guy.
I think Maryland reached out, right, to get an
Yeah.
interview because they had decided he was their guy.
He was the guy. He was number one target. He was their Brad Stevens. They were going after him.
Yeah.
And
And to be honest with you, great job, Maryland. That would have
Yeah.
been an amazing hire.
duh.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
We were the first people to say Rick Pitino to Maryland, by the way.
I'm gonna say Rick Pitino to everyone.
And everyone thought we were kidding, but we weren't kidding.
I love the reaction to that. Like half the people were quote tweeting it and were saying, "Well, that puts that to bed," and then the other half were like, "That means he's definitely."
Yeah,
taking the
everyone's
job."
like, honestly, heard this before.
But Rick Pitino did not need to do this. He did not need to shoot this down. He could have just let this. He could have let this fester and let you and I speculate about this, move chess pieces on the board. We could have had some fun. Instead, he has ruined all of that. And it's not even. It's for God's sakes, it's March 4th. Like, if you're gonna do this, like wait till mid-April or something to do this.
Yeah.
Like we need this to talk.
Well, you
about.
know
We
why
need
he's
to have-
doing this, right? He thinks that they're going to actually make a run in the tournament. And
Iona?
and the smoke of all of this, he
Well-
was really worried about.
Well, that's interesting because on Thursday, Iona lost at Manhattan.
Exactly. The
And
smoke was too much.
Manhattan is like a 500 basketball team, and
Yeah.
Iona is really good, and they
telling
lost.
you.
They had their win streak snapped.
He,
so that-
he
that's
had
interesting
to
to
he had
me.
to nip it in the bud. He was like, I cannot have this parse into the locker room and then have these people get mad at me.
So you're saying Maryland's still on the table?
I'm saying it's not over with. I'm just saying right now, Rick Pitino is like, shut it all down because I'm trying to win with Iona. And he owes that to the Gales.
What about Louisville?
Louisville should call him. If I was Louisville and I saw Maryland already had him number one, I'm like, one, that takes the burden off our back of like, why are you guys doing this? It's like, well, in the open free market, he is this valuable.
Yes.
So we are approaching it like that. He's the hottest coach. He's the best coach on the market, and we have to hire him. And guess what? He's familiar with us. He knows who we are, and he's got a guy, Tom Jurich. I saw some Louisville people floating that they should just bring him back together, Tom Jurich and Rick Pitino.
I love it.
And that would be
We
amazing.
said that to Andy Katz like a month and a half
With
ago.
Coach K leaving and now Coach K, he can't go back on his word and have his hand all over the program. You know what I mean? He's got to get away. So Duke's dead. Louisville,
Carolina's been dead. Louisville steps in. They're the kings
Carolina,
of the
we are
ACC.
who we are. But Louisville, there you go, kings of the ACC. Or you go to the Big Ten with Rick Pitino. That's even bigger
Either
power
way,
play.
Rick, let us speculate. Let us
yes.
just give us that. That's all we ask. Number 3 on the fraud power rankings,
Ooh,
Mr. March,
yeah,
Tom Izzo.
agreed.
And I put Tom Izzo. I didn't put Tom Izzo. I phrased it as Mr. March, and here's why, Tate, because what's going to happen is it happens every year that Michigan State will make the NCAA tournament. Probably, I don't know. The way they've been playing lately, it's they're going downhill fast. But Michigan State will make the tournament. There will be a ton of people that don't really follow college basketball that closely. Maybe people that are listening to this show that are just tuning in. When the calendar turns to March, they're like, let's see what Titus and Tate have to say.
Yep.
These people are going to see Michigan State as like a 7 or an 8 seed, say. Michigan State in the 8-9 game, and they're like, oh, I like Michigan State to win that one. And then, oh my God, Michigan State, Gonzaga. Gonzaga always chokes. Michigan State is Tom Izzo, Mr. March. I got Michigan State over Gonzaga in the 9-1 game.
Yeah.
And then once he's in the Sweet 16, oh my God.
He's a Final Four guy.
It might be a Final Four game.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's it. I got Michigan State to my Final Four. Do not do that. I am here to tell you, America, this is not a Michigan State team that you are familiar with. They, I cannot stress it enough. Michigan State will not do anything in this NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Every Michigan State fan is nodding in agreement. They are completely lifeless. They are a finesse team. They have zero leadership whatsoever. And everything I'm saying, I understand could be bulletin board material for Michigan State. I believe so little in this Michigan State team right now.
Use it.
Use it. I dare you.
Put it
dare
on your
you.
bulletin board.
Put it on the bulletin board. You know I'm right. You know I'm exactly right. I guarantee whatever Tom Izzo is telling his players in practice right
It's
now
much worse
is
than
much
what- yeah.
worse than what I just said.
Yeah.
They have zero hallmarks of the Michigan State teams of the past that have been, say, like a 7 seed or a 6 seed, whatever, that go on runs in the NCAA tournament. It's not going to happen this year. And Mr. March is for this year, for this moment in time, Mr. March is dead.
Agreed.
So That's it. I mean, Joey Brunk ripped Michigan State to shreds.
I mean, we've done this before, Mr.
ripped him to
November.
shreds.
Can we give Mr. March to someone else? That's the question. Because I think what this means to me with the Izzo, I mean, even last year losing to UCLA, it felt like Mick took Mr. March from him. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say that Mick Cronin is Mr. March, but if they do it again, Titus, if they're a
If Mick
4
Cronin
seed,
does
and
it
Mick Cronin
again,
does it again,
I think the difference
he's
is
Mr. March.
he had expectations this year.
Yeah.
Because part of the Mr. March allure is that we didn't expect anything. This came out of nowhere.
No one's expecting much out of UCLA now.
That's true.
They're waning. Purposely, I believe,
true.
because Mr. March.
That's true. Well, there you go. Congratulations to Michigan State on making the Final Four. Now that I just
Yeah, I know. Clip that.
gave you that to work with. At number 2 on the fraud power rankings this week, refs.
Yeah,
All refs.
always.
Every ref. So originally I had I was going to go in on the Arkansas LSU refs. I don't know if you saw this on Wednesday night, but I was watching that game. I DVR'd it because we were at the Donda situation. But I went home the next morning. I watched the LSU Arkansas game, and it was an absolute atrocity of officiating for multiple reasons. 3 guys fouled out. 2 more had 4 fouls. LSU. I'm Team Muss. You know this, Tate.
Yeah.
And I like the guy. I'm Team Muss. So this is not I understand. We have far more people that are Arkansas fans that listen to the show than LSU fans. I do not love Will Wade. I do love Eric Musselman. I would cheer for Arkansas over LSU 10 times out of 10. But the refereeing was a little one-sided, I would say. And part of that was Jalen Williams took 3 charges that were among the most preposterous charges I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
This man has taken 48 charges on the season. It is spiraling out of control how much like people are talking about it in SEC. Like Arkansas fans are like proud of it, but they know deep down they should not be proud of it because they remember Grant Williams, who might be related to Jalen Williams when I watch him play, the way Grant Williams would flop around for Tennessee. But he took 3 of the most preposterous. You'll have to look at the clips. It is absolutely insane, these charges he took. Got every single call on him. So that was bad enough. And then J.D. Note at the end of the game travels. He gets trapped, jumps up in the air, falls down, then gets fouled. Arkansas was down 1, hits the 2 free throws. That's how Arkansas wins the game. So I was prepared to call that out. I just did right there. But then a friend of the program named Ron on Twitter enlightened me to this story that Larry Sirotto, I believe is how you say his name, and if not, who cares? Who cares? Whatever.
Sounds right.
Is a Big Ten official ref. A Big Ten official ref. A Big Ten official Tate is what I meant to say. Sorry. He's a Big Ten ref. He is also was the Fort Lauderdale police chief, and he was just recently fired, Tate, as the Fort Lauderdale police chief because the auditor of Fort Lauderdale, the city of Fort Lauderdale, for 16 years, who was about to retire. That's how they all are. Every cop is about to retire.
Yeah.
If movies are to be believed.
Yes.
He was an auditor for 16 years. He was investigating Sirotto for having a second job while his timesheet, as the police chief said, that he was on the clock. So he was like filing these timesheets for taxpayers to pay his salary. And the auditor was like, wait a second, I don't think you were working then because I was watching the Michigan State Purdue game
And you were reffing that game.
You were reffing that game.
Yeah.
So the auditor was fired. Like as he was investigating the Fort Lauderdale, the police chief, he was fired.
Nice.
So it might be literally fraud.
This is like Bloodline.
Yeah.
This is literal fraud.
This is literal fraud happening amongst these college basketball. The refs are literally committing fraud. So there's that. So then like I was ready to go in on Arkansas LSU refs, and then I saw that story and I was like, all refs, just throw them together. All of them. All of them are fraudulent, I guess.
I had a flight attendant friend, and she told me they call it Fort Lickerdale. So every time that I hear Fort Lauderdale, I can't think of anything else other than Fort Lickerdale.
All I think about is the dollhouse in Fort Lauderdale. Girls.
Yeah, Jim. I thought Jim was gonna like that.
He is, by the way, Larry Sirotto is ranked 83 on Ken Palm's ref rankings. He was number 5 last year.
So he's not high. He's not high enough to be a fraud.
No, he was number 5 last year.
Oh wow. So
this year
getting to him.
It's getting to him. It's broken him. All right, number 1. It hurts.
Don't do it, Coach K.
Please, Coach K.
Please, Coach K.
It's not Coach K. This one really, really hurts me, Tate, because you know that there's one thing I care about more in this world than anything else. It's that in 49 states, it's just basketball.
Oh, yeah.
But in the state of Indiana, it matters more. It just does. It's more important.
Saw it with Joey
than anything
Brunk.
else.
Yeah.
But number one on the fraud power rankings is Indiana as a basketball state, as a whole, the entire state
Oh.
of Indiana. The idea that
I blame
49
Brad
states is
Stevens.
just basketball.
I blame Brad Stevens.
I am inclined to agree because since Brad Stevens said he's a masshole and he's turned his back on the state of Indiana, here's where we stand as a state of Indiana. Now the impetus behind this, putting Indiana number one, I will admit, is this past week, Indiana chokes at home against Rutgers, out of the tournament probably. It's going to take a miracle. We're going to have to win at Purdue and maybe win a game in the Big Ten tournament. Who the hell knows? But Indiana's out. Indiana's out of the tournament right now. They choked that away. Ron Harper has now hit game winners against Purdue and Indiana.
Yeah. He's the reaper.
So there's that. But then also Purdue, who is this was the best team in school history, quote unquote. The first time Purdue has ever been ranked number one. They are third in the Big Ten. So even Purdue, who's like good, is still like not
Not yeah.
You know what
not
I mean?
running the show. Yeah.
and loses to Wisconsin and lets the Big Ten title slip away. And it's a down year for the Big Ten. The Big Ten's not even as good as it usually is. Purdue has the best team ever. Third in the Big Ten. There's that.
And the team that beat him was supposed to be 8th, right? That was Wisconsin.
10th.
Yeah, 10th. Oh my God.
They were picked to finish 10th.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that Wisconsin team is 4-0 against Purdue and Indiana this year.
So they stole the mojo.
Also, Purdue and Indiana are the only two teams that Michigan State has beaten in the last month. Literally. In the last month, Michigan State has 2 wins, and it's Purdue and Indiana. So both of these teams are handing them wins. But it's not just Purdue and IU, Tate. Butler is second to last in the Big East standings
Butler. Oof.
for the second year in a row. They are an absolute dumpster fire. There are 3 Missouri Valley Indiana teams. The Missouri Valley has 10 teams in the conference. There are 3 from Indiana: Evansville, Valparaiso, and Indiana State. Of the 10 teams, these are the seeds in the Missouri Valley tournament. 7, 9, and 10 are the Indiana teams. They're at the bottom of the Missouri Valley. Evansville played Valpo in the first round yesterday. Valpo blew them out, so Evansville's season's done. Indiana State lost to Illinois State. Their season's done. They suck.
That's
Valpo,
Licklider, right? Licklider.
yeah. Valpo sucks. The Pacers are tanking, which is made worse by the fact that they can't even tank right. Like, they're beating the Celtics. They're beating the Magic. They can't even figure out how to tank correctly.
Mm-hmm.
My father went to the Big Ten women's tournament the other day, and he reported back to me that the Conseco Field, whatever the hell they call it now, it used to have in the hallways, they used to have these like shrines to Indiana basketball, like pro, college, high school, everything. Just like, in 49 states it's basketball.
Yeah.
He said all of that is gone. All of the artifacts are gone. It is like a sterile. He said it's a concert venue now. He's like, it's not even a basketball venue. All of that is gone. That feels fraudulent. Ball State sucks. What else is the Crossroads Classic, where all the 4 big Indiana schools come together and play?
Mm-hmm.
This was the last year for it. It's officially dead. I don't know, man. DePaul doesn't have a head coach. Brad Stevens won't answer their calls. We have
This is DePaul with a W.
with the W, yeah, the Brad Stevens alma mater.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is back to relevance. There's that. We can hang our head on that, but like even then.
But the disrespect for the ACC, they
Right.
can't get any credit. Yeah.
I will say Purdue Fort Wayne has won 10 straight, and they are the 2 seed in the Horizon tourney, but they're probably not going to make the NCAA tournament. Cleveland State is considerably better than all that team. I think they beat Cleveland State in 3 overtimes earlier, but there's that. And then we have the high school tournament, and like I don't know, there's that.
I have
There's
hope
still,
in
like,
Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne's our last.
There's
hope.
still that good. There's still like hope that like a semi-state game in the high school tournament can be played in front of like 9,000 people, and that gets shared on Twitter, and people are like, "Damn, it is bigger in Indiana." But right now, the state of basketball in Indiana, in the state, has never been worse.
And you know what the worst thing about
It's never
this?
been worse.
Wednesday, Mad Dog from Mike and the Mad Dog Russo went on First Take and gave the take that Larry Bird is better than LeBron James, and gave a very inspired argument. But he was just getting obviously roasted by
Obviously
everyone.
getting killed,
And everyone's like, Larry Bird's a carpenter, Larry Bird's a janitor,
Oh.
Larry. These are all the comments. And I was thinking to myself, the public opinion of Indiana basketball is so far off. I mean, and I'm dealing with it. You know what I mean? It's so far from reality, but it is, like you said, it's fraudulent.
It's bad.
It's fraudulent.
It's I can't defend it. I want to. I'm gonna go home and watch Hoosiers like 3.
I think what we need is
Right.
Larry Bird to play LeBron 1-on-1.
Flaming horse at least. IU Purdue is on. That's a great lead into IU Purdue on Saturday, the rematch.
Yes.
Get excited, America.
Ooh.
No, I don't know. I saw the landscape of it all, and I was like, man, this is so sad. What's happened to? Because that's all I really care about. People will get
Yeah.
confused why I care so much about Indiana and why I cared so much about Brad Stevens going back to IU. And I was like, man, it's just about like, I need the state of Indiana to
To be a basketball.
be a
state.
basketball state. This is
Yeah.
important to me. And right now, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
The best high school program in the state is La Lumiere, which is like basically the Donda Academy, the
That's
original Donda Academy.
Yeah. That's where LaMelo went, right?
Yeah. I think. I don't know. There's a lot of teams
LaMelo
that
went
go there.
everywhere. LaMelo went everywhere. So it's all good.
That's it. Shout outs, closeouts. What do we got?
Oh man, I wanted to shout out obviously, Coach K and
course.
the farewell tour that
Of
we're going to
course.
see tomorrow. I also wanted to shout out all the journalists. Have you seen all these stories? The journalists that stayed in Krzyzewskiville, like it's like I've seen one that's like 32 days in Krzyzewskiville. I've seen another one that's like 10 nights in Krzyzewskiville. And it's like all these leading up to the final game, and then it's like insider firsthand reporting that's going on. And I wanted to shout out to the journalists that are boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground.
Getting in
That's serious.
Krzyzewskiville, figuring out what it's like. I mean, it is not for the faint of heart, and it's also not where you want to be. You know what I mean?
What are they reporting? They're just like kids are doing their homework and
Kids are sick.
like
Yeah.
every
No, they're like this.
every 3 hours somebody comes over.
No, it's
with
like interviews, like, and they ask people about like Coach K and how much he means to them, and they say,
But like what the idea of like staying in Krzyzewskiville as though it's like you're Hunter S. Thompson.
Exactly.
Gonzo
It's
journalist.
Gonzo journalism. So shout out to Gonzo
What are you?
journalists.
Unless
I
you're telling me
respect
they're
it.
just like ripping lines of coke every, which they might be, which like
I
you
mean,
know,
then that would mean the Kville has changed a lot.
I'm
I
assuming
think you're
that's
right. I
not
think
it.
they're reading their biology books with the flashlight, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Who's John Shire?"
Yeah, like what I don't understand that. That's a story that seems like a great idea in your head, and then you go there and you're like, this is.
Well, there's a lot of those that
And I don't mean to pile on Kville because that's probably true of just about any student section that's camping out in 2022. I'm sure back in like the 80s and stuff, it was the Wild West.
of course.
The 80s and 90s.
I think like Jimmy Buffett played there, like in the '80s. Like he like literally went, like I'm not even kidding. I think he like literally went in the middle of Krzyzewskiville.
Wasted away
Like, played
again
bars.
in Krzyzewskiville.
Literally, that might have been the highlight of Krzyzewskiville.
I want to shout out Patrick Ewing for getting the vote of confidence from his athletic director Lee Reed, which is definitely not the kiss of death. Do not misinterpret it as that, Tate.
What did he say?
He said, in this ever-evolving landscape of college athletics, we are committed to Coach Ewing, and we are working with him to evaluate every aspect of the men's basketball program to make the necessary changes for him to put us back on the path to success for next year. They're working to evaluate every aspect except the head coach, it seems like. So they're definitely not going to fire him. And I actually believe him. I think Patrick Ewing will be back. I think if Patrick Ewing was named anything else, his ass would have been fired a long time ago. But they also mentioned that he won the Big East last year as like proof that he was hot for 5 days.
But like
so that's why we're keeping him around for the next.
But those private institutions, I mean, they're kind of like, I mean, they want to hold on to what it was, so they're trying to. I mean, they're just trying to have something.
I had this thought though, if Georgetown does move on from Patrick Ewing, is it a Sean or an Archie job?
How
do you see that one?
That's a Sean job, I think.
You think it's Sean?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Archie's more like NC State, like more of a like state.
Yeah.
School.
I didn't know. It was a good. I really don't know where I land.
If you give Sean Miller a private school like that has some cachet and it got Jordan Brand, I promise you're gonna get a #1 pick. Like you're gonna get one player that's like, wow, how did this guy go to Georgetown?
I think you're right. Jordan probably makes it more of a Sean school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I want to shout out Juwan Howard as well. Speaking of former NBA guys who are coaches, who is in fact not worse than Phil Martelli because Iowa smoked Michigan.
So that was good for Juwan Howard.
Yeah. Do you think Juwan Howard's cheering us?
I think so. I mean, I blame Hunter Dickinson. He's the one that tweeted. Some guy got really upset that I said January, February Martelli, as if it was like me saying.
Like Michigan fans are now upset that people are floating the idea that
Martelli's. I was like, the play,
literally your best player. Not only your best player, your only player. Your only player that's worth a damn is like January, February Martelli.
Yeah.
Iowa's on a tear. Shout out to Iowa. Iowa's 8-1 in the last 9. They've tied it up defensively.
Big Ten stat of the week.
Yeah. They are an interesting team, and all the times we've talked about teams from the Big Ten that might like. I've gone through the national title chances that the Big Ten has a handful of times on the show. I've never once mentioned Iowa. I don't think Iowa has a chance at winning the national title, but they should have been in the conversation. That's important as we talk about on the show.
People like to be in the conversation.
Being in the conversation is important. Iowa, you're officially in the conversation of teams from the Big Ten that can't win the national title.
Yes, congratulations.
I will officially mention you now as teams that will fall short. Another team that won't win the national title, Arizona State has won 6 of 7.
That's a Pac-12 tournament team, That's the Oregon State from last year.
Mm-hmm.
take them. If they're an 11, 12 seed that gets in the day, because they.
I don't know what the bracket looks like if they would meet up, but Arizona State Pac-12 title game. Arizona State has to win it to make the tournament, and Arizona might need to win it to get a one. Oh my God, that would
Arizona
be so
would
good.
win.
Yeah, they would, but like going into the game, it
would be a lot of hype.
It'd be a lot of hype. I'd be very excited about.
Good for Bobby Sachs, by the way.
Yeah,
he got it back.
Robert Sachs is
he's back.
Swept the mountain trip.
Yeah.
Destroyed Oregon.
He figured out something. I don't know what he figured out, but he figured out something.
That's all I got. You got anything, Jim?
Shout out Tate for bringing us to Donda. I wanted to go see that my whole life. Ever since I was a little boy. Yeah. And also shout out to the guy at Donda who was wearing the black rain boots, which I wanted to do.
Yeah, you wanted the boots.
Like to be funny, but that guy was just seriously wearing black like galoshes.
Yeah.
Well, is there more to it, or
Kanye wears Balenciaga boots?
Yeah, he wears those crazy boots, like
to his
snow
knee.
Boots. Yeah, this guy was wearing the boots from like
I'm out of the loop. So
the old guy.
you're like boots.
Boots? I don't.
Yeah. So there was a guy,
the old guy from Home Alone.
Yeah. The neighbor was like, the murderer or whatever.
Do you like the old salt man or the pigeon lady in Home Alone 2 better?
I like them both.
Who's power rankings? Who's
They
on your creepy old person?
They should get
that's
together.
That's a BuzzFeed article right there.
Do they have a podcast? They should.
Yeah.
They should have them two should have a podcast that they
Yeah.
talk about the making of Home Alone. Is that it?
That's all I got.
We're doing a show tomorrow after Carolina Duke.
Yeah.
There are other good games too. We'll talk about. I mean, like Kentucky's playing at Florida. IU's at Purdue. I don't know, but Duke,
Texas, Kansas.
Yeah.
Duke
Carolina's the one. So we'll be doing that on Saturday night.
Is it the one?
As we have done,
we'll see.
As we have done before we head out on Sunday to the Big East tournament, Tate.
I know we're flying to New York. I can't believe we're going to be in New York for a week.
Yeah, if you're going to be there, hit us up. We'll I don't know. Do they have bars in New York? Like, is that like a thing? Is there like a bar?
Yeah, there's
culture?
like 3.
They have 3 bars. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go to one of the 3. Do they have
March? They're closed.
We're staying in Manhattan and going to MSG for the game. So
no,
this
we're
is
staying out by St. John's.
Oh no. Okay, so we're staying in Queens. Okay.
We're staying in Paramus. So.
Yeah. We're gonna be in Piscataway, New Jersey. We'll see you guys later.
All right, that's the show. See you guys next time you hear our voices. We'll be celebrating the big North Carolina win over Duke.
No, I don't say that. Knock on wood. Congrats, Coach K. You did it again.